And now, here for you, this is News Views, a newscast for Champaign-Urbana, Illinois, and the world. This is Bill Ratner speaking. And now, Michael Badger.
Hello, welcome to News View. I'm Michael Badger. Well, in local news, according to ArsTechnia.com, they say that Michael Hart, the Project Gutenberg's founder, has passed away. Project Gutenberg started in the 1970s, the early 1970s, and Michael Hart was its founder, but he died in his home in Urbana, Illinois at the age of 64. He loved electronic books, and the Gutenberg project he founded produced more than 36,000 books, and they were in plain vanilla text format, but later HTML, MOBI, and EPUB. And in other news, in Britain, 3-year-olds and some other age groups, according to Infowars.com, some in Britain have been labeled homophobic or racist based on their disturbing comments, and this according to Paul Joseph Watson. Over 30,000 British school children have been entered into a government database, and this is basically a thought crime database, they're saying here. They've labeled them racist or homophobic based on their unfortunate speech, which I personally don't feel is right, but I don't feel it's right to enter them into a database either, especially not by the British government or any other government, or for the reasons they're doing this. They say that this was found out and exposed when a civil liberties group called the Manifesto Club made a Freedom of Information Act request, which betrayed the fact that kids who used petty jibes, is what he calls it, are now being treated as thought criminals by education authorities. And schools are being pressured, he says, to report such incidents to authorities and face punishments for not doing so under anti-bullying policies. Now, I don't understand the petty jibes, quote unquote. I never have. I've never used them myself. I've never been a fan of them. But I also don't agree, I don't like them being entered into a government database. And that's just my take on that story. And the PekinTimes.com says a CAC art exhibit opens Saturday in Peoria, and well, it already opened on the 10th. On the 10th, it opened, and they're requesting donations, and it's Lisa Nelson Rabe and Donna Happick until October 31st in Gallery 3R in Peoria. They say Rab and Hepik of Chicago have both created extraordinary and lively artwork. And admission is free with donations requested. To see that, you can go to pekintimes.com and look for CAC Art Exhibit. And according to Associated Press's Christopher S. Rugbar, consumers paid more for a range of goods and services last month, pushing up inflation and squeezing Americans' purchasing power, quote unquote. The Consumer Price Index rose 0.4% in August after jumping 0.5% in July. For the next 12 months that ended in August, the index surged 2%, which is the biggest year-over-year increase in nearly 3 years. So inflation is being driven up right now, and that according to Associated Press and Yahoo Finance. And in other news, in Urbana, Illinois, University of Illinois Law School test scores and grades data is in question, and the assistant dean has been ousted. This, according to therepublic.com, they're saying that the U of I's College of Law admissions dean, Paul Pleece, has been placed on leave, and an investigation into whether the school inflated test scores and grades in the profile of the fall's incoming class is underway. According to the university, the inaccurate data about grades and test scores was posted on its website but has been removed. President Michael Hogan said, quote, tone of integrity and transparency is apparent across all our campuses, unquote, adding that the university takes questionable actions seriously. Plus, a U of I law school graduate and dean for the past 8 years couldn't be reached for comment. And the Guitar Festival in Urbana-Champaign has wrapped up. It was held at the Krannert Center for the Performing Arts at the U of I campus September 8th through 10th and celebrated its 4th incarnation over the weekend with nearly 30 performances, including 17 free shows and 10 ticketed events. It's a biennial event that has hosted an international cast of players in the micro-urban city of Champaign-Urbana and welcomed more than 11,500 fans throughout the weekend. Highlights included choice billing for Grammy Award-winning Taja Mahal and fellow Grammy winners the Carolina Chocolate Drops and Alvin Youngblood Hart, and you can find out more about that at cybergrass.com, which is the Bluegrass Music News Network online. And I think we'll go to our first break for this evening. Stay tuned. There's more News View on the way. Well, according to the University of Illinois and LaserFocusWorld.com, amorphous silicon is indeed a glass, until you add hydrogen, that is. Using scanning funneling microscopy, researchers at the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign have observed that the subnanometer structure of amorphous silicon, or ASI, is indeed a glass until hydrogen is added. The finding expands the knowledge of the material properties of silicon that could be important to future solar cell and other developments. Unlike crystalline form of silicon, ASI has a random glassy structure to it, well suited to flexible thin film solar cells. However, it cannot be manufactured like a glass by rapidly cooling in its melted state, and instead is fabricated through iron implication or chemical vapor deposition techniques. If you want more on that, go to Laser Focus World, and hopefully you can find that somewhere. Libyan rebels have taken control of most of Tripoli, and Gaddafi's defenses have crumbled. That according to the Chicago Tribune and the Associated Press. They say that euphoric Libyan rebels took control of most of Tripoli on Sunday. State TV broadcasted Gaddafi's bitter pleas for Libyans to defend his regime. But the opposition seems to be winning out against Gaddafi, while some American journalists have been interviewing Ahmadinejad, who, of course, you probably know from the news, and we'll get into that maybe some other time. But in other news, searchers are looking for a missing Johannesburg hiker in a Montana park. The 27-year-old Jacob Rigby has turned up missing after going on a hike at Glacier National Park in Montana, and a search is underway to find him, say park officials. According to the park, employees had been notified at 2 a.m. Monday morning that Jacob Rigby, aged 27 years old, who is a seasonal employee at the park, had not returned from a day hike. His supervisor at the park later notified park rangers that he did not show up for work as scheduled Monday morning. The search began Monday, but the release said, and continues today, saying Rigby's vehicle was found near the Felding trailhead of the park's southern end, but they're looking for him with more than 50 people, including ground crews, search dogs, helicopters, and specially trained human trackers. And that's from the Chicago Tribune, I believe. Or maybe not. Well, anyway, in Champaign, the Champaign libraries and the Urbana libraries are planning to join catalogs. They say on the City of Champaign website that the Urbana Free Library and the Champaign Public Library are working together to create their own library catalog, thus making an easier way to find materials from the two cities' citizens and at the two libraries they use the most. The two libraries will continue to be among the 594 members of the Illinois Heartland Library System and participate in the sharing of materials throughout the system. And Champaign and Urbana patrons will still have access to the system-wide catalog as well as the new joint catalog. Having their own catalog will give Champaign and Urbana the flexibility to offer the newest innovations, tailoring the catalog to the particular needs of persons of large public libraries in the area. And you can read more about that at the City of Champaign's website. And in other news, a Terre Haute, Indiana mail processing facility could be closing, according to WTHI TV 10 News in Terre Haute, Indiana. They say the Terre Haute U.S. Postal Service processing facility is on the list of possible closures, according to a U.S. Postal Service proposal that came out on Thursday. And we'll have the weather when we come back right after this break, right here on NewsView on a Friday night in Champaign, Urbana, Illinois, or on YouTube, where the weather will probably be just a record of what the weather was over this weekend later when you're watching it on YouTube. But stay tuned. Weather is next for Champaign, Urbana, and the surrounding areas. Thanks for watching.
Hello, this is Sarah Choi. This is your weather forecast for Champaign-Urbana area. Friday night will be 44 degrees Fahrenheit, mostly cloudy. Saturday, mostly sunny, 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Saturday night, mostly cloudy with 50% Fahrenheit. Sunday, high of 75 degrees, 30% of thunderstorms. Sunday night is mostly cloudy with low 59 degrees Fahrenheit, 50% chance of thunderstorms.